revealing WWE's most top secrets. Let's check it out.
WWE uses a lot of tricks and secrets to create their iconic moments, like when Kane locked The Undertaker inside of a casket and set it on fire. Those flames were real, so how did The Undertaker escape and survive? Well, after being chokeslammed and having the lid shut, Undertaker escaped through a secret door. At the bottom of the casket, there's a section of padding that can be pushed out. Since the casket was right next to the ring, The Undertaker simply pushed the padding out and crawled under the ring. Kane and Paul Bearer intentionally blocked the view so that no one could see Undertaker escaping the casket. 18 years later, The Undertaker avoided another near-death incident when Shane McMahon jumped from the top of the Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania 32. We saw how the dead man survived, but how did Shane avoid killing himself? Well, there's actually an airbag hidden underneath the announcer's table.
This WWE WrestleMania was one of the best WrestleManias in my opinion. This was crazy. This was a crazy match, Shane versus Undertaker.
You could see the bag deflating after McMahon hits the floor. This moment still had to hurt, but at least there was some cushioning. A less painful moment was when Kurt Angle sprayed Stone Cold and an army of wrestlers with milk. You might not believe this, but the entire thing is a lie. Sort of. That is not milk that Kurt Angle is spraying everyone with. Since the arena and all the wrestlers would smell really bad due to the milk spoiling, WWE instead had Kurt Angle spray water. To make it look like the Olympic gold medalist was using milk, they added white coloring to the water. While the milk that came out of the hose was not real, the milk Kurt Angle drank at the end was, which created a problem. The milk stained Angle's shoes, and when he flew on a plane the next day, he smelled awful. There's only ever been 5 buried alive matches in WWE history, but when they do happen, it's pretty special. A wrestler wins when they bury their opponent inside a grave. No wrestler has ever actually died because of this match, so what's the secret? The first trick is that the grave is always built on what's supposed to look like a hill. This is what allows the grave to be very deep. Speaking of which, while the sides of the grave look like dirt, they're actually just fabric. When the wrestler falls into the grave, he'll pull back the fabric and go inside a small hidden room built into the side of the grave. The wrestler's opponent will usually do something dramatic to give the wrestler who's getting buried enough time to get into the hidden room before the dirt fills the grave. The room is just big enough for the wrestler to stand up and move around in. This is how The Undertaker was able to have his hand rise from the ground after the first Buried Alive match in 1996. That's how WWE does a Buried Alive match, but what about when Paul Bearer was buried alive under concrete? You might be surprised, but that was mostly real concrete. However, there was some oatmeal mixed in to give it texture. How WWE pulled off the stunt was, before the show started and before fans were at the arena, WWE filmed Paul Bearer sitting in the tank as they filmed it. Then, during the broadcast, WWE would play these pre-recorded clips to make it look like Paul Bearer was there live and the tank was getting filled. Now, during the actual show, there was someone in the tank, but that was a professional stunt person who was pretending to be Paul Bearer. In order to make it believable, the camera crew had to avoid showing a clear shot of the tank, since fans would have been able to tell that Paul Bearer wasn't actually in there. Okay, this one may not be an iconic moment, but it was memorable. On Raw, Triple H attacked Stone Cold Steve Austin backstage. It was actually a pretty stupid move, as Stone Cold not only got the upper hand, but he locked Triple H in a room with a rattlesnake. That was a real rattlesnake that Triple H was next to, but he wasn't in any danger, taking both the game and the rattlesnake safe. One of the most shocking and infamous moments in WWE history is
There's a fucking rattlesnake? And it was real and Triple H did not get hurt. Did they remove the fangs or something? Wait, I gotta go back.
as Stone Cold not only got the upper hand, but he locked Triple H in a room with a rattlesnake. That was a real rattlesnake that Triple H was next to, but he wasn't in any danger, taking both the game and the rattlesnake safe. One of the most shocking and infamous moments in WWE history is when Vince McMahon's limo blew up with him inside of it. As you might guess, WWE pulled the stunt off by pre-recording the explosion. But do you know exactly when the moment goes from live to pre-recorded footage? It happens right after the camera changes from behind Vince McMahon to a wide angle of him entering the limo. WWE did a pretty good job, but you can see in the live shot that there are 2 trailers behind the fence and only one when the limo explodes. Also, the fence changes a bit between the 2 angles, and there's also a tree that wasn't there before. Now, to perform the stunt safely, after McMahon entered the limo, the camera stayed completely still. McMahon then left the vehicle, and once everyone was safe, the explosions went off. WWE cut the footage, so it looked like the explosion happened as soon as Vince shut the door. Something else worth mentioning is that for a single frame, you can see part of the device where the explosion came from. It's no surprise that one of the ways WWE makes things seem real is with clever camera tricks. Sometimes, WWE will cut to a different angle at the last second to make a move seem more impactful. However, thanks to one fan sitting in the front row, everyone was able to see one of their camera tricks firsthand. On Raw, Seth Rollins grabbed a chair and began hitting Drew McIntyre with it. Cell phone video from a fan in attendance caught the cameraman squatting down and up. Of course, this was to shake the camera so that every time the chair connected with Drew's back, it seemed more brutal. Pretty much all the fans we've talked about so far only managed to expose one WWE trick. This next fan, though, uncovered a ton of WWE secrets in just a few snapshots. In 2014, a fan at a WWE show discovered a script for Raw that had been left unattended and decided to take some pictures and share them online. The images show the outline for an entire episode of Monday Night.
Can WWE be sued for that? Like, yo, a fan found the entire script for the entire show. Could WWE like sue for that or something like that? Yo, that is really interesting to know. Did this guy have any repercussions? Wow.
Raw, and include information like who is the producer for a particular match, how long each match needs to be, the exact lines wrestlers are supposed to say,
"It is futile to resist,"
and more. Hopefully no one found out which WWE employee left the script unattended, because Vince McMahon
That employee's getting fired, bro. Oh my god.
probably would have something he would have liked to say.
I am no pervert.
Wait, that's not right.
Yeah!
That's more like it. With how many matches and segments are on a WWE show, the ring has to be adjusted throughout the event. The ring crew usually needs to be pretty quick too, since the majority of WWE shows are on live TV. The actual changing of the ring apron and canvas is usually something WWE doesn't show, but thanks to fan cameras, it's possible to see how they do it. While this isn't really a secret, sometimes the ring crew cut things pretty tight. For example, at the 2017 Payback pay-per-view, the production staff were changing the ring for the Cruiserweight match. They might have been short on time or not going as fast, because Neville was making his way to the ring while the crew were still getting it set up. Luckily, the WWE employees got out just before the champion got in the ropes. If you watch this on TV though, you probably had no idea how close WWE was cutting it. After you see this, you'll never look at Randy Orton's power slam the same way again. Watch these two clips and see if you notice anything different.
Orton trying to reclaim the United States Championship on Sunday.
Of course, in the first clip, Randy Orton successfully performed the power slam and was unsuccessful in the second. But take a look at Orton's hands. When he hits the power slam, he claps his hands right before performing the move. Notice how, in the second clip, there is no clap. This isn't an isolated incident. Take a look at these clips. If Randy Orton is going to give his opponent a power slam, he'll clap his hands. If he isn't, then no clap. This tells the
Bro, yo, ain't no way. So it's like when he claps his hands, it registers for the superstar to actually get slammed. Bro, these little things I never noticed as a kid growing up watching wrestling, bro. Damn.
opponent whether they need to take the move or not. This isn't the only hand signal that wrestlers use. When a wrestler performs a DDT, their opponent needs to know if they'll take the move or counter it. The wrestler executing the DDT tells their opponent what to do with a slap on the back. Like the power slam, a slap on the back tells the wrestler to take the DDT. If there is no slap, then the opponent needs to counter. An example of this happened during Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair's match at Extreme Rules 2021. The first time Bliss went to perform a DDT, there was no slap and Flair countered. However, the second time Alexa went to perform the move, she slapped Charlotte's back and the DDT was successful. WWE wrestlers use many other hand signals during matches. When Chris Jericho and Triple H were having a match, the game sneakily communicated he wanted to give Jericho the boot by tapping his quad as Y2J was running toward him. On an episode of Raw in 2014, Dean Ambrose and John Cena were wrestling in the main event. Raw was about to go off the air, so Dean Ambrose made a signal to Cena to speed things up, since they only had 6 minutes left. At WrestleMania,
Well, I thought Dean Ambrose did that because he was saying, "Come on, John, bring in some more." Not because he was saying, "Come on, he needs to go faster." Yo, what, bro? Oh my God.
Mania 22, right before Shawn Michaels hit Vince McMahon with an elbow drop from a ladder, the referee squeezed McMahon's leg to tell the boss to brace for impact. Years later, at WrestleMania 29, CM Punk was accompanied by Paul Heyman for his match against The Undertaker. During the fight, the dead man grabbed Heyman by the throat. Punk then attacked Taker with a clothesline to break it up. Since Undertaker had his back turned and couldn't see CM Punk, Paul Heyman squeezed Taker's shoulder so he knew to turn around and take the clothesline. Botch and Sin Cara go together like peanut butter and jelly, but the faceless one is completely innocent when it comes to this mistake. When Sin Cara debuted in April 2011, he jumped into the ring and fought off Sheamus. Unfortunately, right before the luchador dove in, the cameraman accidentally revealed a bit too much and showed the trampoline Sin Cara jumped off of to make his entrance. The WWE camera crew got better at hiding this as Sin Cara continued to wrestle, but the masked wrestler's career didn't exactly start off on the right angle. At
Wait. Sin Cara jumps on a trampoline every time to do his entrance? Why did I think this man actually had hops? I thought this man actually had hops where he actually jumped. He had a trampoline? Yo, I feel so dumb, bro. Oh my God. This man had a trampoline this entire
WrestleMania
time.
7, Jake the Snake Roberts took on the model Rick Martel in a blindfold match. Unfortunately, the illusion that both men were completely blind fell apart before the bell had even run. While the referees were getting the blindfolds on each competitor, Jake pulled part of the cloth away, revealing two spots they could see from. It didn't help that the camera was pointed directly at him either. Everything else went smoothly, but that botch at the beginning didn't help anyone suspend their disbelief. In addition to playing their role in the match, WWE referees also handle most of the communication. If there's something that WWE producers and directors want the wrestlers to know, they'll tell the referee by talking to him or her through the referee's earpiece. An example of this was shown live on Raw. Elias and Jackson Riker were facing off in a Symphony of Destruction match. While fighting, Elias accidentally got busted open. WWE has a no-blood policy and likes to avoid it when they can, especially during their PG shows. After Elias began to bleed, someone backstage told the referee to tell Elias to wipe off the blood, which Elias did immediately. This apparently wasn't communicated to the production crew, and the whole thing was shown on camera. WWE likes to make their wrestlers seem larger than life. There's all kinds of tricks and secrets they use to do this, and one of them was exposed live on Raw. Rey and Dominic Mysterio were being interviewed backstage when Austin Theory interrupted. The camera pulled back a bit too far and revealed that the interviewer was bending his knees in order to make the wrestlers seem taller. This is one of the reasons why WWE likes to hire women for backstage interview roles, since they usually don't have to adjust their height to make the wrestlers appear taller.
Wow. Damn.